good to speak to you. I'll just start by reflecting on last night, less than 24 hours after that game. How do you reflect on it?
Really good win, as all wins are. And I think my thoughts on the game, I haven't watched it back because we've been training this morning, but my thoughts were we had to do all the basics well. The grind. There wasn't many chances in the game for either team. It was going to come down to who could have the piece of quality to turn it in their favour. And fortunate for us, Alex Patterson produced it. But the effort that the players put in, the schedule we're in the middle of at the moment, requires a lot of energy. We've changed the team again and kept winning. So that's great for the feeling of the squad that they understand that he will have a really important part to play. So but the rest of the boys have trained today, and we're looking at the next one now.
I know how big you are on praising the entire squad, but you mentioned him there, Alex Patterson, with that goal. I think he's on to maybe 2 or 3 goal of the season contenders now. Is he just trying to better each one as the season goes on?
Yeah, the boys they're all in confident mood and positive, and I think that sort of brings out each individual's best qualities. And Alex Patterson is a goal scoring midfield player, so it's going to come out in that certain aspect of his game. Other keeper players like Sam in goal, it's going to come out in saves or something like that. So it was a fantastic strike, well worked, and he has done it before, so he's going to have his own little compilation, I think, at the end of the season. So we might have to have 2 awards: the Alex Patterson goal and the general goal of the season. So, but they're all chipping in their own ways. Different players scoring winners each week. And obviously the defensive side of the game, which is really important for us. Everyone is contributing to that.
I'll ask you a bit about the depth in a bit, but we saw a bit more Brandon Kayla as well last night on that right side of the attacking 3 again. Yeah. I know he's a versatile player, and I know that's something you really value in any sort of signing, but is that mainly where you see his best position?
No, I think when we brought him in, we were just on the sort of cusp of changing the shape when we first met him. It was before he came in online, and we were playing 3-5-2 at the time. So we spoke about the 8 position, with his legs and energy and his quality on the ball. But then we just changed to the 3-4-3, and we talked about the 6 and competing with Richie and Pato and Sars. But then I think he came on as a sub a few weeks ago in that more advanced position, and looked like he enjoyed it. He's got the attributes, the physical, the technical, and I just we've got good players that are not getting starts at the moment, and they're training so well. Their attitude's excellent, and Brandon's one of those guys. And I'm trying to win games, use as many players as possible, but reward players for their patience, their professionalism, their support. And Brandon's been top notch. He came here with the purpose of trying to play regular football. He's not gone straight away with him, but I had a chat with him maybe 10 days ago about fulfilling a whole career over 15-20 years, that it's not always going to be plain sailing, and it's not always going to go your way. So what's your attitude and your personality going to be like in those periods? And he's showing the right ones, and that will hold him in great stead for the rest of his career. And that's every player has to understand that, and Brandon's been superb. So I think he's an excellent technical player. I think he's got great legs, and he's very intelligent as well. So he takes on the positional stuff on board. So it was good to get him on last night.
Are those sort of aspects some of the biggest learnings you get when you are a player of his age coming through? The fact that you're going to have competition, you're not going to always be starting. How important are those particular teachings as a young player?
Yeah, I think the competitive side of football, if a player doesn't understand that, then they're finished. That's it. They're not going to have the career they expect. And sometimes you'll go through a level, or you'll go from maybe youth team to getting a professional contract, and you think, you've achieved something, but then it's just another level of competition. And then you get in a team, and then you come out and there's another level of competition. You go up a league. It's always there. It should always be there anyway, that competitive side in the environment. And a player's got to understand, right, okay, this is just normal. I think if they see it as something different, then I think they're going to change their approach to it. And I think for me, the consistency players need to produce to have fulfilling careers is always their behaviours and their actions in all manners. They can't take their mood onto the pitch. That's what we talk about all the time. It's got to be parts. As soon as you cross the white line, we're in neutral zone, we're just there to win. So I've spoken at length with Brandon about that and a couple of the other players as well. And we do it with all the lads about understanding disappointment or challenges, because our team has challenges week in, week out. So if we're just going to down tools at the first challenge that don't go our way, we're not going to achieve anything. So we need individuals with that ability, because then it seeps into our team. And Brandon's shown great, and not just Brandon, George Lapsley, Neil Byrne, people like that. We just had a training game there with the 18s, and obviously it was like 3 points on the table. It was superb. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. The tempo, the aggression, the intensity, everyone doing exactly what we did last night and did last Saturday, and that fulfills me with confidence that when we make these changes, the players are going to be at it. Because if you can do it on a Wednesday against a U team, you're definitely going to do it on a Saturday.
You've naturally got that buy-in, and I know you've said that before when we've asked you about it. I know you mentioned last night how difficult it is sometimes to make those decisions as to who's playing, who's not, and especially at the minute when you're on this run, you're winning games. The likes of George Lapsley, Neil Byrne, Jay Ben, what more can they do to break their way through and into that matchday squad?
All they can do is their maximum every time they put the boots on, and not just when they go on the pitch, but I mean in changing rooms, in the canteen. All that's in the gym. It's just behave like you are on the team. That's it, and have that respect for each other, and that's what I'm seeing. So it'd be difficult for me to sit down with a player and say, you need to do this more. They're doing everything that we expect them to do, and you say that buy-in comes naturally. It doesn't. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to build all that trust with individuals, and they need to understand, or over time, that when you talk to them and you say these things, that we actually follow through on it. You know what I mean? It's not just words just to keep you happy. It's there is rewards. There is a trust from myself and the other coaching staff in the full squad, not just a certain part of that group. And it's only over time when they'll look back and they go, well, yeah, we all played, we all contributed. Hopefully, we were all successful, and then you build trust over time. So it's not. It's not an instant thing. It takes time to generate that sort of feeling, and then the players have to take it forward. So the senior players or the intelligent players take it forward for us in the changing room when we're not there, and that's how it's all built.
Just on the injury front, Graham, have you come through last night all okay, barring the usual bumps and bruises?
Yeah, I think so. Just trying to think off the top of my head. Everyone who didn't play trained today, and all the other boys, there was no one reporting injured this morning, so we should have a full complement of players come Saturday. Obviously just the two lads missing, Lewis and Kieran, and Cookie obviously, but all the other boys are fit and raring to go.
On those three, Kieran first, have you got his scan results back yet?
He's going to be out for maybe 2 or 3 weeks more from now. So that's pretty rewarding for us to know that he's not going to be out too long. Lewis Richards, he had a scan. To be fair, I thought he was going to be out for the season because it's the second time he's done it. But the surgeon was really positive, saying, "Look, we can operate now. That it will take an operation at some point, but there's no need to have it right now because there's no more damage than the last time." So it can be a similar sort of scenario to last time when he was out for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks and then was back playing. It's the same again. So but we left it to Lewis. It had to be Lewis's choice. It's his body, but he was desperate to stay involved and be back in the group. So he was out on the grass today with his boots on, not with the players obviously, but just on his own doing stuff. So it's just that healing process he's got to go through again.
I was going to ask you about Lewis actually and that decision. As someone who is far from an expert in shoulders or any sort of injury like that, is there an element of risk in leaving the surgery till the end of the season?
Yeah, I think there's an element of risk every time you walk on a pitch. That's the thing. I think it's just going to be there. I think when he has the operation, it will strengthen that. But I think the surgeon was really clear with Lewis, and we didn't put him under any pressure at all. We said, think about it, but straight away he was adamant, no, I want to come back, I want to be involved, I want to play my part. So, it's down to the player at that point. If we thought it was too much of a risk on him, then we would try and advise him to, no, be careful. But we don't feel it's in that sort of vicinity, and we've had the expert guidance. And like I say, I don't know if you're on about me or you being a shoulder expert, because I don't think either of us know anything about that. I know I don't, so I have to go off the advice that we're given. But it was Lewis's choice.
On Andy as well, I know he's obviously nowhere near being back, but is he sort of happily ticking over as best he can be at the minute? Yeah,
just been chatting with him there. He just, I think last night he sat right near the back of the stand. I don't think that did his knee any favours. I think he was in agony, or in discomfort, I should say. So he was just talking about trying to sit closer to the pitch next time. And but he's been in the change room before the game, after the game. He's still with the boys. It's a great atmosphere in there amongst everyone, the fit, the injured, the ones in and out of the team. So everyone, and like I said, when Cookie got injured, he's still got a part to play with the rest of our season, and he's certainly doing it.
Looking ahead to this weekend, then Newport away, a long journey that falls smack bang in the middle of a pretty intense schedule as it is. I think it's 6 or 7 straight weeks of Saturday, Tuesdays. How are you dealing with that at present, sort of in this period? Yeah,
we're just taking it as normal. Fortunately, we haven't got to walk there, so we'll be fine. We'll have a nice bus to look after us, and then the hotel on Friday night. So it is what it is. We're trying to look after the boys in between the games really well, and very light, because the games are enough for the starters to be fit. We don't need to top anyone up in between, apart from the ones that are not starting. But that's why we had the 40-minute practice game this morning. So whoever comes into the team on Saturday, they're up and running, ready to go. So that's we'll stick to the usual procedure away from home. The most important thing is not the travelling. It's not what we organise. It's how the players look after themselves when we can't see them, when they're at home, when they're at the back of the bus, when they're in the hotel room. Are they doing the right things, drinking the right things, getting to sleep, all that sort of thing. That discipline, that individual discipline, is more important than anything we will do. If they do those things right, everything will look after itself.
And I guess this period's another one of those where you look back to the summer and the tough pre-season that you did, and how much you worked on the fitness. Is this another chunk of the season now where that sort of work is once again coming to fruition?
I believe so. I believe so. It's that will go back to my playing days. The pre-seasons were incredibly tough, but if you went through that 6-week period and you got to the start of the season, bare minimum of topping up from then on, because you had a great base. The games keep you fit. There's obviously bits and pieces in between, but that pre-season is, you get one opportunity to do it. You can't do a pre-season halfway through or anything like that. So but it's not just the pre-season, it's the off-season that the players had to prepare for the pre-season. So fortunately or unfortunately, we didn't have an elongated season last season, so we had a proper break, but we had enough time to put a programme in where when they came back to start the pre-season, they were prepared for it as well. So you're probably looking at maybe a 10 or 11 week pre-season in all, and I believe it's not the start, it's these periods when you can't train, that the base is there, and if you look after yourself with the discipline away from the game, that's where it doesn't leave you. So it's there once you've got it, and then you've got to protect it if you're a player. So I believe in it, but sometimes you need this sort of period for the players to believe in it. After that, so and they worked exceptionally hard in pre-season and off-season, and hopefully they're seeing the rewards.
And just finally from me, I asked Callum Johnson a similar question a little earlier. Is this sort of period made easier when you are winning? As simple as it sounds, I imagine coming in with bumps and bruises on a morning like this feels much better when you were leaving the pitch with a smile on your face. Yeah,
definitely. It makes everything. You sleep better. There's more noise around the place. But what I would say about this group, even when we had that period where we couldn't get over the line, we couldn't get a win, the attitude and the sort of environment was still good. It was still positive, because we knew of our challenges, and we knew we could improve, and we knew we were still a competitive team. So, but certainly winning makes everyone feel better. Everyone going to work today after last night, you know, the supporters, everyone will be feeling better. So that's for me, that's the biggest sort of driving force for us. You know, everyone wants to feel good about themselves and about the team they support. So if you do the hard work, you have the discipline, you get the rewards by winning and then feeling better the next day. And it's quite a basic sort of line, but I like to live by that.
Cheers, Graham.
Okay.
And with the run of games you're in the middle of at the moment, and the journeys that many of them will involve, do you look ahead, or can you look ahead and think, that player, I can put them in there because that one's going to need a rest? Or is it something that has to be match to match?
At this period, I've started to do that with Chris, and to sort of look maybe at a 2-3 game period. And so I think I said last night, obviously the game on Tuesday, we know there'll be five or six players not available to us, so we have to sort of understand who we're going to have to play in that game. So work back from that over this and Newport game, last night's game and Saturday. So it's not something I've really had to do in the past because of winning team, good performances, same team, you know, and reward that. But I just believe if I did that again, players would break down, and I'm going to have to change the team. So I either do it proactively or reactively. And at the minute, we're trying to be proactive with it and trying to sort of gauge the game that's coming up, the game that we're playing, and the condition of the players. You know, because things can happen in a game that changes your thoughts on who's going to play in the next game. So there's a bit of a balance, but yeah, there's half an eye on the next one, or maybe two, just to balance it all.
And you've spoken many times about wanting to bring winners into the squad when it's transfer window and the like. Do you think you're seeing the benefit of that now with the way they're managing to close games out and hold on to 1-0s?
Yes, I am. I do believe that, but there's still a long way to go. So we haven't achieved anything yet. You know what I mean? So we have to make sure that there's still many more big games ahead of us, and the pressure gets higher and the stakes get higher, and that's when I believe our experienced players and players who have gone through it before and ultimately won, they can lean on those experiences to sort of talk to the ones who haven't done it. You know, it doesn't have to be young players, because there's older players that haven't had the success of a promotion. And there's challenging times which you've already been through, but like I said before, the atmosphere there was still positive. I think the group was still ambitious. You know, they weren't losing it weren't a drama when we were going through there. We were just working to fix it, because we knew we had a good squad, we knew we had a good team, and the players knew that, and they could keep that balance with players who might just get a bit dramatic when there was no need to do it. So I believe that is helping us win the games we're doing at the moment, but like I say, we have to keep continuing that and hopefully add more winners to that group. I mean, as in the players that are already here that haven't done it before. Hopefully this will be a season where they add that to their CB as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, Graham, we talked to Callum Johnson earlier. I mean, how good is it to sort of have him back now? And he sort of said he's been back fit since mid-December. He's now back in the group. He feels part of it. I mean, how good is that to actually sort of see the Callum Johnson you signed?
Yeah, look, it's been a real difficult period for Callum, because I think any new player, when you go to join a new club, you want to prove yourself. You want to be in with the group, and the best way of doing that is being on the pitch, playing games, being there. That's the biggest icebreaker you will get. And when you don't get that opportunity, which Callum didn't get, for 6 months or so, it's really hard to really get on the inside, and feel it from an individual. Whatever you do, players talk and they still socialise with you, but you're a footballer underneath it all, and you want to prove yourself to your teammates, and he didn't have that opportunity. So I believe how he's trained and how he's looked after himself, he's not shown any apprehension in how he's trained and played to what he's had in this past. I think he's had a real strong mentality and a positive one looking forward. And we know, when we signed him, we knew there was a risk, but only on the injury side. There weren't a risk on the playing side, the technical side, and all that sort of thing. So we knew if he was fit, then we had a really good player on our hands. And I think he's proven that right now.
I think match fitness wise as well now. I think it was his third start last night.
Yeah.
He's sort of up to the level he wants to be at.
I think there's more to come.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think there's more to come. I think he's missed a significant. It's not just the 6 months with us. It goes prior to that. So it takes time to sort of get right up to speed where you can maybe put 9-10 games on the bounce. I don't think he's there yet. So that's why we're trying to manage him in the best way possible. But I think mentally he is. But we've just got to make sure we protect him from himself a little bit, because he's obviously got a strong desire to play every game and make up for lost time maybe. But look, he gives us really good options. He can play, in the back three. He can play as a wing back, and I think the players like him as well. I think he's a really good lad, and they know there's another good player to help them win games.
Say, obviously managing the squad at the moment. I mean, if the lads are coming in January, obviously, George Lapsley, Michael Mellon, Teo, even, the players who've sort of been on the fringes so far. I mean, is it more of a challenge to manage them, because obviously they've just come in and they're still sort of understanding the fact that I've come in but I might not be playing for 3 weeks because these players are playing, sort of thing. Yeah,
I think it is. I think that's why we try to talk to them as often as possible, and that's why we explain how we do these games, that it's not just a game against a U team which you just beat who's in front of you. It's actually, we're practicing now for Saturday, for Tuesday, so we need to see the right things that we will do week in, week out. It's so it's not getting 2-0 up against the 18s and then just petering out and winning the game. We have to keep repeating the actions, because we need to trust that you'll go in a team and take the opportunity and not let the team down. So, and the effort it takes and all this lot. So it's always the ones that join in the summer, they've got the pre-season to understand how it works. When you come in January, you thrust right into match, especially right now. And so I'm sure they're all a little bit frustrated at not being in the team week in, week out. But hopefully, I think the way we explain to them, I think all the staff, I think the way the other players have talked to them, because they're really good lads as well. They've come in really smoothly and mixed in straight away. I think that helps. And I don't think there's a negative in joining a team that's in good vein of form. But I think if you want to achieve, because they're all young players, these loans, if you want to achieve what you want to do in the career, then this is your challenge. Because they're all come down a level to compete for us. So if you want to play at your parent club, then you need to.
You've got to crack this one.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a learning curve from all. But I look at every individual, and they've all got brilliant attributes, and they've all got the exact sort of profile that we need to be in our team. And I think Jack Shepherd is probably the shining light for those guys who come in line. He's probably played as many minutes as anybody else this season, and he's made it work for him. And that's what the other boys have to do. And I think whatever, I spoke to Brandon about this, whatever you get from this 4 or 5 month experience, you have to go back a better player. And if you just take a day off and be sad, you're not going to go back as a better player. And that's what the whole purpose of coming here is. So that was just me reminding him. It wasn't anything he was doing. I was just reminding him that that's what this challenge is, to give him something to keep competing for, and they're showing all the right attributes to do it. But like I said, we've got a strong squad, and they're all going to have a part to play.
I was dread to mention the league table to you, because you were sort of bat it away a little bit, particularly this stage of the season. But the fact that, just as an example, Walsall were miles clear a few weeks ago. I think going into that Walsall game, it was 17 points behind them. It's now 7.
Yeah.
How the whole picture's sort of contracted. Does that sort of show that basically every spot is available in this league?
Yeah, I think it's a warning sign for us, to be honest. Look at that, you can be going along smoothly and someone just knocks you off rails, and it's really hard to get that momentum back. Sometimes we had the result last week against Wimbledon, 1-0 against a rival for where we are in the league. We've got straight back on the horse and won the next 2 games, so that shows a consistency of our mind and our approach. And it's still fine margins, but the English, I'd never get bored of repeating myself on answers when the expectancy of beating certain teams and this, that, the other. It's a myth. Every game. Look at how tough last night's game was, and all the games that we've had against the teams in the bottom bottom section, Carlisle, Morecambe, Atkinson last night, Harrogate, 1-0, really tight affairs, you know. So I think that's what, you know, people talk about at the top level, because it's the, you know, it's the biggest profile, the Premier League, and the people that come from abroad to work in the English game, and they go how competitive it is from top to bottom, where it might not be like that in other leagues, but it goes in every division. That, you know, you see the competitive level. There's no easy games, so you have to compete at the highest level and make sure that you're consistent with your mindset and understand things can go against you, but don't, you know, fall apart, sort of thing. And so it's there for everybody. But listen, Walsall are still 7 points in front of everyone else, so I'm sure they took that at the start of the season.
So you still rather be in their position than anyone else.
100%. Yeah, that's the thing.
But it is, as you say, it's a warning that whatever run a team can be on, it can, you know, for whatever reason, it can end, and suddenly you've got to react to that straight away.
Yeah, that's it. So I think that we've got a group of players that do that really well. You know, and we don't talk about negative things happening this week, but we put things in context and in perspective all the time, and avoid that drama of, right, we're the best team in the world now, or then we lose 1 or 2 and we're the worst team in the world. We're always trying to give a balance on what we need to keep repeating over 50 games, because it is generally 50 games that you play at least in the course of a season. And the players, but we've been talking about that for maybe 11 months or so, and it's took a lot of time for that to seep throughout the environment, through the change room, through the canteen, the gym, all those things, and it's there now, and the players are taking it on themselves. We still need to remind them and give them bits of information, but yeah, that's the challenge for every team in English football.
And obviously, talking of teams and form, Newport, you play Newport team, won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, league-wise, you look at their position and they're probably not where they want to be, but they're on a great run of form, and you know, you're probably meeting them at their peak moment. So as far as this season goes at the moment.
Yeah, and they might be thinking the same about us. So you know, I think both teams will go in with ambitions of winning the game, and in this division, anyone can do it. So we have to go into the game on Saturday, prepare properly Friday, and pick the team that we feel is the most appropriate for this game, knowing our strengths, and that's what we have to do. But the players have consistently done that, but they've hit a good run of form, and their tails will be up and looking forward to the game. I'm guessing, you know, I thought it was a really good game of football when we played them here at Valley Parade earlier in the season. I thought it was a really entertaining game for everybody to watch. We were really happy to come out on top. But I'm sure it'll be a tough game again, but it will be 2 good teams going against each other regardless of the league position.